What up, y'all? It's me, Solo Dolo, Mike from Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike. Man, what's up, y'all? Let's get it popping. We are talking about the strong performance from Adam Peters, man. This week has been crazy, just absolutely crazy. I've been asking all week, can GM Adam Peters build the Commanders into contenders? And bruh, but just be honest with y'all. So far, so freaking good. Again, man, welcome to Sporting Combos with Eddie and Mike. It's me, Mike, and I'm solo dolo this episode, man. I just want to sit here and go through the free agency signings. And as you can see, it was a lot of those Bamas, man. Just so many people that this man was signing. I mean, he kept bringing in free agents. It got so bad that I had to update this graphic about 2-3 times. The one that you're currently looking at, man. If you notice, Rashad White isn't in there. Van Jefferson isn't in there. Diami Brown isn't in there. Before I created this one, who wasn't in there yet. So, like, the graphic just literally kept growing. I shared it with my nephew earlier, and I was telling him the progress of the graphic, and before I could even show him the other pictures after the first one, he was like, at some point, you're going to have to get rid of Peters. And that's exactly what happened, man. Like, so many players that he's brought in for the Commanders, young, and reinforcements. Like, that's exactly what it is. Straight up reinforcements, because let's face it, this roster was some cheeks last year, bro. Like, just absolutely cheeks. We had to sit through and watch so many of those trash performances, man. And I understand that there was a lot of injuries and this happened and that happened, but even entering the season, like, we all can admit there was an eerie feeling with this roster coming off an NFC Championship game, and we saw it. Like, what, 5-12, literally the opposite of last season. No playoff games, blown out a couple of times, shut out by the Vikings at one point. We'll revisit that game a couple of times, I think, during the filming or recording of this. But yeah, the roster was bad, man. The roster was really bad, but brought in reinforcements, man, and we're about to go ahead and break those down. So I'm going to go ahead and present these to y'all in order of, I'm going to say, impact, I feel like. And we're going to start off with the number one signing, bro. The easy number one signing as far as I'm concerned. He was number one on my target list entering the free agency. And I know nobody cares about Mike from Sporting Combos or Eddie and Mike. Like and subscribe, by the way, if you haven't. Pretty good show. Me and my man Eddie be cooking. But I had Odafe Owe on the top of my list, man. And I know about him from Baltimore. Talked about him with coworkers a couple of times, so I was kind of familiar with him, but didn't follow him much. Definitely wasn't following him after he got traded to the Chargers. But once he got there, man, the Bama started cooking. 7.5 sacks in LA, man. After the trade. That's after the trade that he had obtained those sacks. But he has elite burst, and he signed with the Commanders for 4 years, $100 million, and I felt like that's money well spent. Like, he is a great pass rusher. I feel like he's active, very active, very versatile with his moves too. I've seen him do power rushes. I've seen him do spin moves, rip moves. Like, he is a great pass rusher in the making. I feel like, will he reach the level of Myles Garrett, Max Crosby? I'm not saying all that, and we don't really need all that from this man. We just need him to put pressure on the quarterback, and that's something that he does well. And I just have some notes I want to get off my chest real quick. Former first round out of Penn State. He's an elite athletic edge rusher. The Bama ran a 4.3640, bruh. and he was really heavy, like at 257 pounds. And like I said earlier, he has a bag. He can hit you with a speed move. He can hit you with a bull rush move. Like the Bama is really, really great and versatile. And like I said, he's young, kind of. Like he's still developing. Like I feel like there's more he can get. And in this particular scheme, with these players around him, these Southern players around him, I feel like the sky's the limit for this man. Double digit sacks, possibly. I don't know, but he got 7.5 in the scheme that he entered in the beginning. I mean, in the middle of a season. So why not predict double digit sacks for my man? And shout out to my man Max. He asked a question: who was going to pair with Dorrance Armstrong, Jayhawks legend? I believe he said. That's your answer, bro. Right there. Ode. I'm sorry, Odafe Owe. Like, yeah, it's gonna be some names on this episode. It's gonna be some names. But like I said, he's really, really good and my number one target because I felt like you didn't want to spend money on Hendrickson. Couldn't trade for Crosby, and sounds like nobody can trade for Crosby right now. So yeah, perfect signing. Great value for great production. You can't help it. My rating, five out of five, man. It's an easy 5 out of 5 for me. Definitely the most impactful signing, in my opinion, so far for free agency for Adam Peters and the Washington Commanders. Udafe Owe, 5 out of 5 for me. Next signing, my man Chigozine Okonkwo. I actually got that right. 4.52 speed tight end, dangerous after the catch. I'm pretty sure y'all Bama's and saw the highlight of that long run. I think it was 58 yards or something crazy like that. He had last season versus the Saints. He's good after the catch, man. Very good. He signed a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Commanders. Um, at former Terp, like I'm not going to ever hate on the former Terp. And yeah, I just feel like he's going to be a nice weapon for Jay and Daniels and the Commanders offense because I'll say this, like, remember Zach Ertz and how well he was getting open and how he would kind of like not try hard after the run. And no disrespect for him, I totally get it. We won't have this problem with Okonkwo, man. Like we really won't have this problem. He's very, very fast, very shifty for a tight end, and with that comes some liabilities. To be honest with you, he may not be the best run blocker, but I feel like with tight ends, man, if you're like a receiving threat at tight end, all you need to do is have a little bit of effort when you're run blocking. A little bit of effort and technique can go a long way for a receiving threat with tight end. Because at the end of the day, all we need to do is have the defense to wonder when Chig is on the field, are they going to actually throw the ball? If there's just a little threat of the run, it makes him so much better as a player. And I feel like he can definitely pull that off. I was listening to Take Command earlier with Grant Paulson, and he said on his radio show, Grant and Danny, that Chig basically was not thrilled with the offense in Tennessee, and he's kind of excited to see what's going to happen in Washington. My rating, bro, 5 out of 5 again, man. Whew, 5 times that. Like it's a good signing, very, very impactful. Lost my screen for a sec. Let's bring that back on. Now we gotta start over. That's on me. Let's get right back into it. Next person, Leo Chenal, former Kansas City Chiefs linebacker, elite run defender, man. Physical downhill linebacker. He signed with the Commanders for 3 years, $24.75 million. I like the move. Like who hasn't seen this Bama over the last few years for the Chiefs? Two-time Super Bowl winner, I believe. Epic moment at the Super Bowl parade when he climbed a double-decker tour bus during the Chiefs parade. If you haven't seen that clip, it kind of went viral and it happened a couple of years ago. But getting to the player real quick, he's a former Wisconsin Badger, one of the strongest linebackers in the NFL, apparently. Wait, these are notes that I've been looking at. I'm just telling y'all what they're saying. He fixed a physical defensive scheme, and again, I told you that Vikings game was going to come into play because we have their coordinator, and I just feel like he fits perfectly for their type of scheme. And he's a tone setter, bro. Like I really feel like he can be Luvu plus. I feel like he can do what Luvu does and maybe a little bit better at coverage. But I feel like you can have both of them on the field at the same time at times. Like I hate to bring this game up, but think about if we had Leo Chanel and Luvu on the field during the 2024 NFC Championship game and how much better the team would have been against the run. You never know. Things could have been different, but I digress. Going back to Leo Chanel, um, very excited about this signing. He may not be as impactful as Owe, but still impactful enough. That's why Peters threw that 3 years at him, man. And I'm very excited. So give me 4 out of 5 for this signing, bro. Like I said, Leo Chanel, hard hitting tone setter, bro. Like I'm good with this one. I'm good with this pickup. Next, my man Rashad White, coming from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, running back, dual threat, very explosive in space. He only signed a 1 year contract, but it's cool. You know, with running backs, you know, they kind of come and go. And with this team, we done seen a plethora of running backs come and go for a year or two at a time. And I just feel like even though he's on a 1 year, he can have a similar impact that Debo had for the offense. Maybe not as productive, because there should be more pieces around this season than they were last year. So there'll be less chances for him to touch the ball. But I believe when he does touch the ball for Washington, they will do some good things, young. I feel like he's a great replacement for Austin Eckler. Great replacement. He kind of, honestly, you can say he's a low budget Eckler to keep it a buck with y'all. He can be a running back. He could start at running back one easily for a couple of games if you need to. He's also a good receiving back. His hands are crazy. Like he can really catch the ball for a running back. So I feel like this is your Eckler replacement. And if things goes well, he's young enough to extend no problem. Um, he's he just can do whatever you need a running back to do. And that's kind of the perfect running back in today's rotation heavy era that we've been running. Very versatile piece. 4 out of 5, like I said, chef kiss on that pickup. And that's Jaden Daniels' boy. Pretty sure everybody mentioned it, but I mean, the truth is the truth. When you're locked in with the franchise quarterback, it just increases your chances. Calebon Chasium. Calebon Chasium. And I'm sorry, Chasem. Calebon Chasem. I don't know why I keep saying Chasium. That's on me, y'all. Please forgive me. Chasem family. Chasem family. Please forgive me. Explosive edge from the Patriots. He has a great explosive edge speed, pass rush. He has the potential to grow in that spot. And they signed him for a 1 year, $12 million deal. He's kind of on a prove it deal like Rashad White was. And I'm going to just tell y'all, watching the highlights of this Bama, he is so freaking active. Like, I understand completely why he struggles against the run because it's like when that ball is hiked and it's a passing play, he will do whatever he can to get to the quarterback. And even after the plays pass him, He is charging down the field. I've seen him force fumbles from the behind. I've seen him chase down people that he probably should not have had a chance to chase down. But that that energy, that activity, like I love it. It reminds me so much of the 2005 Redskins defense and how they used to fly around. And I feel like in this defense, it's a perfect piece. And it's crazy. Shout out to my man Dan. He was like, man, I ain't feeling this free agency, yada yada yada. But hey, if they pick up Caleb Von Chatham, I can be okay with that. I'm gonna be cool with that. And like hours later, I see an alert, and I'm like, who? and he was like, he tagged me and Eddie and was like, I told y'all and all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, I really didn't know who he was. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. But after looking at him, oh, and this tidbit too, like when I got to work and I told my coworker, he was like, oh yeah, I know buddy from LSU, yada yada yada. And I'm like, oh, apparently I'm the only one that's been sleeping on Chasing. So yeah, I'm excited to see him in the burgundy and gold and to see what he can do for this defense that, my goodness, was so cheeks last year. If you notice, we're on the fourth player, and I didn't name 3 defensive players, and guess what? There goes number 5. The Penguin, Tim Settle. Let me move me out the way a little bit. Tim Settle, man, defensive tackle from the Commanders, but also this man was a Redskin. This man was a football team player. Like he goes back with us. He goes back with us. Interior run stopper, rotational depth piece, just an all around beast at defensive tackle. I'm glad we brought him back. So glad to bring him back. Like I said, he was originally drafted by Washington as a Redskin. Powerful interior defensive tackle, strong run defender, familiar with the organization because he was drafted as a Redskin. I'm gonna keep saying that. But he's a solid depth rotational piece at defensive tackle. Um, like I said, he's familiar with the area. I looked at his, I heard from his press conference, and he was talking about it seems familiar, but this place has changed. And bruh, my favorite thing that he said, and my goodness, I testified to it because I could feel it myself, bro. He said that place has healed spiritually. And my goodness, we can do a whole episode on that. But I'm gonna chill on that tonight. Um, he's a good player, man, and I'm glad to have him back. He was on a defensive unit last year that, like my man Eddie said, was one of the best defensive units in the last 15 seasons. So I'm excited to see what he can bring to Washington. No boy. Shout out to my man, the Penguin. Um, I don't think I gave Chasen's rating. I mean, Chason's rating. He's a 4 out of 5. And my man, Big Tim Settle, 4 Penguins, man. 4 Penguins out of 5. Glad to have you back, bro. Welcome back to DMV for real, man. Next, eventually, Amik Robertson, physical slot corner, strong run support. They signed him for 2 years, 15 million. I forgot to mention Settle, surprisingly, and I'm grateful for it. I feel like he signed for 3 years. That means he's going to be here for a minute, and he's going to be a cornerstone rotational piece for that defensive line. Back to Amik Robinson. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not the biggest fan of this signing, but I can understand why Peters brought him in. He One of his claims of fame is that he played great versus Justin Jefferson, and he, from the Commanders to Classified, hates when I take shots at him, but Benjamin St. Juice had a good game versus Justin Jefferson. I'm just saying it can happen. It doesn't mean that you're a good corner. Nevertheless, apparently some things in Detroit was happening where they're asking them to play multiple positions. And for anybody that has done multiple duties at a job, you know how frustrating it could be to get taken off your primary position or your primary task and have to do other tasks to get things done. So I can understand why he's frustrated. But here in DC, you ain't gotta do nothing but play slot apparently, bro. Because it looks like they're gonna keep Mikey Sanders still on the outside, along with Trey Amos, and run him as a corner slot, or even drop Quan Martin down to slot corner, which he did play in Illinois, so it's not like he's never done it before. But I'm just saying, Amik Robinson, a nice rotational piece, a nice solid piece in that secondary that needed some help and honestly needs more help. Nick Cross on this backside. No, I'm joking. Nick Cross, man, safety from Maryland, from the Indianapolis Colts, and now back home to his favorite football team in the NFL, the Washington, formerly known as Redskins Commanders. And I'm gonna just keep it a buck. This is a man I've been wanting on the team for a minute. I remember when he was coming out of the draft. Every time I did a mock draft, I was like, give me Nick Cross at safety because I know he's fast, I know he's physical, and I know that he just has the right mindset. And if he could just hone in these skills, he can be a good box safety. I don't like using that term, but he could be a box safety. And now that the NFL is using three safeties a lot, I feel like he's perfect for that position. He signed a 2-year, 14 million, up to $14 million with the Commanders, and yeah, like I said, I like him. I give him and the Robertson signing. I'm feeling both are 3 out of 5. With Robertson, I feel like that's his ceiling. Maybe can get a little bit higher, but with Nick Cross, I feel like this is his floor. He can definitely have a more impactful season, but as of now, I'm really curious to how the defense is going to look. I can assume it's going to look like Minnesota's, but I don't know. It could look differently, bro. It could really look differently. So, like I said, Nick Cross 3 out of 5, Robertson 3 out of 5, and yeah, both picks solid pickups for the secondary for sure. Charles Omenihu, inside out versatility, edge formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs. He has a high pressure rate, but if you look at that contract, it's only 1 year up to $7 million. So it's like, you got a high pressure rate, but you ain't really cashing in on these sacks, bro. What's going on? So I'm gonna be honest with you, don't know much about him, but from what I saw, he's active too. Like every single defensive player that they signed is one of those defensive players that reminds me of the 2005 Redskins defense led by Greg Williams. I know y'all hear me reference that a lot, and if you hadn't heard me reference it, it's probably because you hadn't liked and subscribed to Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike yet on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, man. Like, check in with us, lock in with us. We're here. But anyway, Charles Omeni, who, like I said, don't know much about him, but he has good pedigree coming from the Chiefs. And I also got some notes from him real quick. Let's see. Sorry about that, y'all. Long and powerful defensive end, can rush inside and outside, known for generating pressure, strong against the run, and he adds depth to the pass rush. Like I said, rotational piece, depth piece, the 7 million is screaming, you're good, but you're not him. And that's okay because this defense is going to rotate a lot of players in and out. And all you need to do is do your job and wreak havoc, wreak some chaos. And more often than not, as we've seen in that Vikings game from last season, the defense can generate an alley or a path to that quarterback, and it is going to cause all types of problems, whether it's a deflection or a sack or a forced fumble or whatever. This defense can produce with players like Charles Omenihu. And I just lost a headphone, but we're going to keep cooking. Oh, no, I got it. Sorry about that, folks. Next player, a former player again, Diami Brown. I don't think he was he was just a straight up football team player and a commander. But at the end of the day, we already know about him. He's a vertical threat. He's familiar with the offense or the new offense or whatever. He's familiar with Jaden Daniels. He was on the team that went to the NFC Championship game. He left Jacksonville last year on a 1 year, $10 million contract. Eh, obviously, things didn't go too well because he's back in DC on a 1 year, up to $3 million signing. Not really something to call Southwest about. And yeah, give me that 2 out of 5 rating for the Diami Brown signing. And yeah, it was a 3 out of 5 for Charles Omenihu. So these signings have been solid, but you can see that with space to fill out on the roster, they just got to bring in some people. And that's exactly what they did with my man Van Jefferson too. Used to be a nice pickup in fantasy football as a low end wide receiver, but for the most part, he's a veteran route technician that brings versatile depth, and he's on a 1 year contract. Again, just a baddie to bring on the team. Don't expect him to do too much. I know you might have saw his long touchdown from last year, but again, if he was one of the men, he wouldn't have got a 1 year contract with details that we don't know about. So those are the free agents, man. Like I said, these Bamas have brought in some reinforcements, young. Like, it's good to see Peters cook the way he has because last year was just way, way too bad to experience. And nobody wants to go through that again. Like, at all. Nobody wants to go through what happened to this team in 2025. And so far, so good. These reinforcement, these pieces, each one they fit. There's a specific need man filled, and it frees you up to do whatever you want to do in the mock draft. And I say that because we are about to do a mock draft here on Eddie and Mike Sporting Convos. And as soon as I can get the screen back up, we'll begin. Before that, though, let's take a look at this depth chart on our lads. And shout out to our lads, man. Been cooking for as long as I can remember, like forever. I know I've been looking at this website for at least 20 years. At least 20 years. But as of now, this is how things currently stand on the Commanders. We'll start with the offense first. Like I've just finished, they brought in 2 new pieces with Van Jefferson and Diami Brown to shore up a wide receiver room that was just lacking. Um, McLaurin, we all know that man's a beast. Like we all know that Terry's going to be there and cook. But outside of that, like, come on, bro. Traylon Burks, Luke McCaffrey, um, Jalen Lane is just not anything to write home about. I doubt Debo is coming back. I doubt Noah Brown's coming back. Please don't bring Chris Moore back. Like, please don't bring Chris Moore. So receiver is definitely a spot that this team is going to have to look at in the draft. They're good on the offensive line. I know y'all in this city, y'all like to draft offensive linemen all willy-nilly all the time, but no need to go for that early in the draft. Later in the draft, if you want to pick up a nice defensive piece, fine, do that. But nah, not not early in the draft. Definitely not with the 7th pick. You're good on offensive line. Laramie Tunsil, he just resigned. I saw the videos of him at Commanders Park with feel like the whole operations was there to greet him, and that's just something that you would love to see. Chris Paul hasn't signed with the team, probably won't sign back, but you have pieces you can throw in right there. You can throw Andrew Wiley right there. You can throw Brandon Coleman right there. So you have pieces. Oh, shout out to Trent Scott. I believe he's a swing. Well, he's just a swing tackle, so he could go. He can go both ways. But yeah, the offensive line is set, and bruh, the tight ends are set. I know some of y'all want to cuz from Oregon, but after the signing of Okonkwo, it's curtains for him, bro. Um, give me these 4. Bates, Okonkwo, Sennett, and my man Yankov set at tight end. Like, we're good. No need to spend too much more resources. Maybe bring in some undrafted free agents or a veteran depth piece to get through camp, but no need to spend too much resources on that. And definitely no need to do anything at quarterback when you got not only Jaden Daniels, but one of the best backups in the league in Marcus Mariota. Running back is going to be iffy, though, because all we have is Bill and Rashad White, and that's it. If it's Green, they are not on the team. So, yeah, the offense, there's a couple of pieces, wink, wink, that you can focus on in the draft. And suddenly, the defense, my goodness, remember, if they're green, they're not on the team. And these green names ain't going to hold you. For some of them, it's like, do you even want them back? But look at all this gold on this road right here. You bring in a free agent, Owe, Odafe Owe. You bring him in, he's going to cook. I already told y'all about Cheesum. I can't believe that our last has him over Dorrance Armstrong. That's really surprising. Luvu's going to cook. Payne and Kinlaw's going to cook. Like, the defense suddenly looks impressively better already, and we're only a week into free agency. So I'm looking at this defense and I'm like, at this point, do you want to draft a pick at 7? Because pretty much all the available pieces at 7 has been taken care of the draft, and that's exactly what I needed Peters to do. Because what that does, it frees you up to take best player available that is a value. I mean, not only a value pick, but a valuable pick, meaning like I'm not drafting a tackle, offensive tackle at 7 when I have Laramie Tunsil and Josh Carnley. I'm not drafting a quarterback at 7 when I have Jaden Daniels and Mariota. And y'all get what I'm saying. So we are about to go to everybody's favorite mock draft site, it feels like. Everybody except for me. I like Pro Football Sports Network. But apparently everybody loves PFF. So we're going to do a quick 5-round mock to end the show. Give me them Commanders at 7. I like to do a little bit more for positional value. Draft for needs, that's cool, and definitely not trying to have too much randomness. But let's go ahead and enter this draft. Definitely turbo speed because ain't nobody trying to sit through all these picks, bro. So we are going to start the draft, and my man Dan was like, "What are we going to do at 7, Mike? Like, what are we going to do at 7?" Wow. So the way this board broke down for us is kind of crazy. There are a few pieces that you can draft and immediately increase the talent on this team. Like, I feel like these 4 players right here, Ruben Bain, David Belly, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, like these 4 players, man, whew, you really can't go wrong with either of these 4 players right here. But let's go back to the recap of this draft. Raiders took Fernando Mendoza at 1. Jets took Arvell Reese at 2. Cardinals picked Sonny Styles at 3. The Titans went Jeremiah Love at 4. And shout out to my man Dev. He actually said because he lives in that area, and he said the fans have been going crazy for Jeremiah Love and saying do whatever they can to draft him. So the fact that they were able to draft him at 4 in this mock draft, after what I heard from my man Dev last night on Command this podcast, I I'm not surprised. What I am surprised is that Mansour Delaney went 5th. I saw him mock to Washington a lot. So yeah, I don't know. Will the Giants draft a corner? I mean, they kind of don't need any more edge hope. Downs is scaring everybody away, and I'm taking him off the board simply because of that degenerative issue that he's having, and it's an ACL too, and I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like, I gotta take him off the list. So honestly, it kind of leaves you with three players, and like I just said, receiver is a need. Receiver is a need, and Carnell Tate is right there, ready for the picking. But there's another interesting choice. Keep it a buck with y'all. I feel like Jordan Tyson is a more dynamic receiver than Cardinal Tate, and I'm itching, I'm fiending to possibly take that risk and draft him with this number 7 pick. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like if you have a receiver from Ohio State, it's kind of the opposite of them with quarterbacks. If you have a receiver from Ohio State and you need a receiver, you should probably take that receiver. 6'3", 195 pounds. It's going to be difficult to pass up on what I believe is the more dynamic receiver. But with the top pick, a top 10 pick, you kind of gotta go with a more sure thing. And even passing up on David Bailey and Ruben Bain, mm, all right, forget it. Forget everything I just said. I know the team needs a wide receiver, and I know Carnell Tate probably is going to be a solid pro. But David Bailey might be too interesting to pass up. Really, like, look at those numbers, bro. Like, and you can have an edge player on your team for years to come, and you pair him with Odafe Owe for a couple of seasons. I'm gonna have to pull that trigger on David Bailey, man. As much as I want to go receiver, I got a feeling we can go and get one at 71. So let's get David Bailey, man. And now we wait. Man, the draft, bruh, for Washington fans, when the draft comes, going from 70 to 71 is going to hurt. I'm telling you, bro, it's going to hurt. Like, even now, I'm just sitting here just looking like, when is the next pick coming up? My goodness. And then after that, we gotta wait another 70 picks until 145. Like, it's not a good year to be a Commanders fan in this draft. So interesting. I didn't think that Romello Height would still be available at 71. And honestly, I feel like by the time the draft comes around, he might not be available at 71. Zachariah Branch, I heard things about him at receiver. Some of y'all might be screaming at me right now. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's available, take him. But honestly, I don't know much about him. It's two players that I would target here for Washington. Out Malachi Fields from Notre Dame, 6'4", tall. Um, I looked I looked at some of his measurables, and like, it seems like he's a good receiver, and it seems like he could do good, but I don't know. This Ted Hurst kid, he kind of he kind of seems intriguing. A little bit shorter, less pedigree. I'm a big pedigree guy because it's like if you were good enough to make it to the NFL, why did you get overlooked so much? Are you really that late of a bloomer? Um, I don't know. I think we might have to go out elsewhere. Running back. A lot of people have been down on Emmett Johnson, and I guess including PFF. But look at it ADP. Like a lot of y'all haven't been down on him, but I'm gonna go with Malachi Fields only because it just seems like he's a type of wide receiver that I don't know. Like I don't know. It, I'm gonna go with Fields because I think Branch is more like a gadget receiver type. Like he's not really the receiver that I'm looking for this team. And I don't know. That just means like if you draft Malachi Fields, it just means that your depth chart is well. I'll say this: I'm gonna draft Malachi Fields, and I'm gonna draft them with this, with y'all keeping this in mind. Strong chance that Brandon Ayuk will be a Washington Commander be, before training camp this season. I really feel like if San Francisco releases him, not only because reporters like Jonathan Jones from CBS Sports has reported that he would sign a 1-year deal with Washington upon his release, just feel like we're the only team that's going to take that big of a risk on him. And obviously, he's just been begging to play with his friend, Jayden Daniels. So, yeah, I'll say the receiver core, if you give me for receiver, if you give me Terry McLaurin, Brandon Ayuk, Malachi Fields, Traylon Burks, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane, Van Jefferson, and Diami Brown, that's a nice 7-piece I could roll with, bro. Like that's a nice 7-piece I can roll with. So yeah, we can draft Malachi Fields and bring in Brandon Ayuk, and I think that would satisfy everyone as far as the receivers are concerned, at least for this season. And with our last pick, I ain't gonna hold you. I haven't gotten this far into my scout yet because I was kind of waiting until after free agency to see exactly what Washington can look for. And as of now, they don't have a running back. And um, I'm gonna just check and see what the PFF people are saying. And so far, it looks like this Nicholas Singleton dude is everyone's favorite, and his rank is higher, his average is higher than our current pick. So let's go ahead and just pull the trigger on Nicholas Singleton. And that's it for this 5-round mock for Washington. I feel like they added 3 more pieces to these reinforcements, man. Just feel like I don't know, like what Peters did with these pieces. I'm really feeling like they'll enter the 2026 draft pretty much doing whatever they want to do with these first 3 picks. I drafted the edge player, and I feel like it was a good pick. They could draft a receiver, and I feel like that would be a good pick. They could draft Caleb Downs, and even though I got a problem with his injury, obviously they don't, and they have way more information than me. So that could be a good pick. But we went with the edge player David Bailey, and PFF gave us an A+. they weren't feeling that Malachi Fields pick. So guess I'm gonna have to get back to the drawing board on that third round pick and do a little bit more digging into that third round pick. But they seem to like Nicholas Singleton, so I'm gonna have to check him out after this recording, bro. But yeah, so far so good. I'm in the top 44% of the Commanders drafts, and that was my first one on PFF. So yeah, it was pretty good, and yeah, that was pretty much it for this episode. Not going to say this week because you never know. I've been doing a lot. I've been doing a lot, but I like providing this content. I like being on Eddie and Mike. I like being on Hill Murray House with my nephews. Love being on Commanders Classified with Ellie and E. Like, it's just fun, man. Like, I love doing this stuff. I love producing content. I love talking football. And you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. For those that haven't been seeing me already, welcome. My name is Mike from Southwest. You've been looking at this special presentation of Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike, featuring my man Eddie P. We're going to holler at y'all, mamas. Peace.